It's amazing. It is. Just the people, like they love their culture. They're still strong over here. Like dance and music's a big part of their culture over here, and just to see that, it's just awesome.
It's just such an eye-opener, you know, for me to come from where I was growing up to where I've come to now is just a highlight, you know, that it's just reaffirmed the belief in myself and other people. But Bacoba was a highlight for me, being able to walk through the streets, painted up with Astro and Ray and George, and to walk through the streets just to the grassroots level, so everyone could get a look at it, you know, the rich, the poor, in between. I'm not one for really going and doing corporate gigs and all that, when only people who have the money are able to see it. Every country I've been to, I've got into the street and I've walked the streets and give everyone an opportunity to see the Aboriginal culture.
But it's hard when they don't know that there's Aboriginal people in Australia and that we come over as Indigenous but we're Mzungus. You know, that's very hard. It's like, where do you begin to straighten that out?
Deadly. Solid, mate. Hey, get the other gig.
It is confronting, and sometimes you find, how do I explain this?
It's maybe coming from the fact that the person who's, you know, making these comments maybe doesn't know, you know, some of the histories of our people. Or, you know, there's diversity in skin colour and, you know, along the timeline as well.
Which has been good for us to come over and show people that, because we don't know if they know a lot about Aboriginal culture, or to come over and just to stand there and say who we are, and then they have to think about it.
I think they thought that's white Australian culture. No, I don't.
I think it's a mix of opinions about it, but for us it's just been great to come over here and sing in language and meet the cultures. And I mean, if we can talk to somebody and say, look, this is what we are, this is what it's like at home, maybe just to get them thinking about it, because the reality is a lot of people overseas don't know anything about Aboriginal people in Australia. They don't have a clue. It's always going to be that very dark person with a spear, a didgeridoo or boomerang. And for us to come over here, and I reckon it would be great to have more things like this going over all over the world, because we are 1.something% of the Australian population, and I reckon the world should see that, because it's the oldest culture in the world, and you'd like to just show people this amazing thing and about how it's changed from colonisation before and today. And that's what we represent, the dancers represent, and I think in any way just coming over here, and if anybody thinks about it, I think it's a job well done by us.
The sad thing, we was class 4 and 4, you know, till how many years ago, wasn't it?
Only 66.
We was classed as a piece of grass, or a tree, as a, you know.
We weren't classed as actually living humans.
To when? Wasn't long ago.
1966.
That's right.
A lot of people don't really know the true story about the Aboriginal people, and I think by us coming here we are starting to, you know, let people know that there is a Aboriginal history there within our country, and it may not be a pretty history, but I still believe the story needs to be told, and all of that needs to be put out on a world scale, and I truly believe we are doing something about that on this tour.
Yeah, the last question, I would like him to explain his condition.
Our young boys would, from the time they're born till the age of about puberty, those boys are usually with the women, because the women taught them how to be gentle and how to be fair and to share. And when they become of age, you know, there's a key that unlocks their brain, and straight away they want to know. As soon as they see us, they want to know what we're about, that there is a world outside where they live. And that's interesting, because it gives them opportunity to get education rolling, start the ball rolling, branch out from where you are and start looking at the world in different perspectives, and taking the good and leaving the bad out, bringing the good and just reaffirming that.
I really value good communication, and I think that that would be the most important lesson which I'll take away from me, is how important it is to interact with people for a start and communicate with genuine feeling. You know, to establish the commonalities, and then, you know, who knows what can grow or build from that. And Bill's just been a perfect example of, you know, someone who can immerse himself in just a really foreign and alien surrounding, but using very kind of genuine and simple communication methods. He's built, you know, so many friendships, and, you know, no matter what we get from the experience, it's all built on that, you know, basic human interaction and communication.
Where you come from?
Australia.
Okay.
Wapi?
Rwanda.
Rwanda. Rwanda. Parlez-vous français?
Yeah. I do not français. Bonjour, papa.
Yes, mate.
What's going on?
Well, we've actually missed the ferry. So that left at what, 9 o'clock, was it? 9:30.
What did Bill say? The room looked a bit like solitary confinement at old Dubbo jail.
Half a star. -2 stars.
You're just the start of drawing a dot.
You fussy Corys, that's all I can say about it.
We may have met each other, but we would never have meant anything to each other, or
Oh dear.
we would have been affected by each other in the way we had if it wasn't for him.
Dumbo!
I've got no alternative here.
How are you?
Just inquiring about some meat kebabs.
He runs around like everything's chaotic, but in that brain of his, everything is just run into order.
He always had everybody's best interests on his mind first. It's all transparent. It's not built on sneakiness or, you know, personal agenda. It's all just straight out.
He's definitely making a change within the schooling system and that over here, and I just need to thank him once again for getting me and the sisters and the brothers here. And yeah, if he needs anything for us when we get back, we'll be there for you, Bill.
He's just got such a big heart. He's just a beautiful man. Yeah.
Do you engrave things here?
No, we don't, but the store up there, they do.
No. We just bought Bill a replacement knife because he lost his.
Any one of the people that we toured with, I would love to work side by side with in Africa. Everyone.
That's freaky.
It's done. Look at that. He's okay?
We've established friendships now that'll go on for the rest of our lives. So. You can't ask for much more than that.
The best, you guys.
Tattoo like that.
From the beginning, this trip is starting in Kampala. It was the third day I kind of broke down. I started crying. I'd never ever seen a place like it. And then 2 weeks into it, we got to where these orphans were. The girls came up. We'd actually spoken to them before then, and we didn't know they were orphans. And they were smiling to us and asking us all these questions. And I said, "We're going to sing for you." And they started to giggle, and I didn't know they were performing. We did our gig, and then it was fantastic. We got to dance with the local traditional dancers and everything. And then the girls came out and the boys behind them. And they were all so young. And they were all wearing white t-shirts and little black skirts and black trousers. And they just started to sing. And then somebody was telling us, translating to us what they were saying. And it's about they've got no mums or dads.
And they all just started crying, and them singing and crying at the same time, and it just affected me.
For me, I'm a very family-orientated man. Like, my family's number one, you know, in my life. I don't know what I'd do without my parents and my brothers and sister. And these kids didn't have anything, and they were pleading to the leaders of the world just to help them out. And I think it got us. It cut us deep. Even if they weren't crying, we could feel it. Just the expressions on their face, their body movement, everything.
If my mum and my dad or any of them weren't there, I'd still have family, extended family, and just to know that these kids had no one except each other. I think this tour has just really struck home what's important to me. It just put things into perspective, that I just put a lot of effort into a lot of trivial things. And that's why I was giving away a lot of money, because what am I going to do with it? I'm going to spend $20 on what? Crap.
I felt guilty that I had my parents and I'd had it easy, and these poor kids, you know, they were asking everyone what their future was and they didn't know.
What can I do? Do I go up there and hug them? I don't know. Do I give them money? What can I do to really help them? And I felt really helpless. Yeah.
I looked round. If someone had asked me to get up and speak then, I couldn't have said a word. And I looked round and I thought, everyone's in the same position. And it was just one of those moments that you'll look back on, and it'll be sort of in that sort of treasury of life that you just can't sort of replace it.
It's cold. Cold. Yeah. Sorry, bruh. No, you get a lot of water. But you, the fellas, are warriors, so it shouldn't bother you. You know, ochre's a very important thing in Aboriginal culture. But the ochre strategy is like who's using too much and who's using too less, but it always seems to be one person's got to mix it up. A lot of the other boys just run in, get their paintwork on, and they're gone. And then if there's not enough left for me, I've got to get more out, mix more up, and then cover other people, you know. So we're sort of running a bit low on the ochre, but I reckon we might just scrape through with it, yeah. But ochre stress, yeah, that's a good one. None of that, it's just like that, hands cup.
You know, it's been good because we're exchanging here with the African people too, but amongst ourselves, you know, we're exchanging amongst each other too. It's been good to learn all of that sort of stuff too. Everybody coming together and picking up different dialects from back home.
The one group that really did take a shining to us was the Masai Mara, and one of the blokes come up to me and he said, "Oh, you have spiritual eyes," and I said, "Oh, okay," and I didn't really catch that at the start, but then after I was thinking about it, I realised that this cultural and spiritual person has seen something within us and within our eyes, and he has seen that there is a spiritual culture there, and they really did take to us real well.
That connection. It was like we'd known each other for years and years and years, because I think we just share that common thing, that we're spiritual people, we're connected to the land, we're humble, we're simple people, we don't need flash things to be able to be happy, and yeah, so there's been a lot of good highlights for me, yeah. And just that affiliation between us. We could see the look in their faces and vice versa, they could see the happiness in our faces, and just, it was an honour to dance. It's been an honour to dance with all the African tribes that we've danced with.
It makes me hunger for my own culture, like, because their culture's striving and my one's like dwindling away. Like, we've only been left with Dreamtime stories, and yeah, it's sad.
People have a big misconception of Aboriginal people in Australia, that we drink a lot and, you know, we fight, and but they fail to understand that we're a product of colonisation, and we were very organised and very spiritual people, and that was just desecrated in such a short amount of time, and what we see today is a product of that.
We got one of the oldest cultures in the world, and keep it strong.
I'd like them to know more about us as Indigenous people, and I think they could learn a lot, and we could definitely learn a lot, because people in Australia, we get shown the same pictures. Like we always say, Aboriginal people, when they're shown through the media, are only shown negative things, and it's the same thing here. So all you see in CNN is poverty in Africa, and if we could, as Indigenous people, work together instead of through governments and stuff like that, I think it would be a great thing. Yeah, learning, that's all it is. I think that's the main thing for all of us. It was the learning experience. Just keep on learning so you don't stay ignorant.
It has to be good if it helps you develop as a person, and just seeing everyone and going through these things with people I didn't know and people that I knew very well was just made it, amazing.
My grandfather opened doors for my father, and then my father was able to open doors for myself, and now hopefully I can open doors to the next generation.
What I would say is, stick in school, educate yourself.
If we can educate our children at an early age and try and steer them in the right direction, they're the ones, the future is in the hands of the children, and we really need to nurture that, I think.
Yeah, we need more lawyers, doctors amongst ourselves, just so, things like exploitation don't rip us apart, which it has been doing in the past.
And I would like to say that let not be the last day that you are here, but let it be the beginning, and you are coming more, and we can interact cultures.
Tighten your lips just a tiny bit. You need to save as much breath as you can.
Well, hopefully one day we're not going to be such a bloody commodity, because that's the way it feels sometimes. Because, not even 2% is huge.
Yeah.
In a way, it makes me feel sad to think, just a couple hundred years ago, it was mainly us, and we was 100% of the country, and now we only, just over 2%, which is a sad thing, but it also makes me strong and drive forward, keep our culture alive, get the young ones to hold on to the language, don't lose it, because if you got no culture, you got no identity. So it's important for us to keep it strong.
I won this ticket. I said, I'll play in poker, you see. And the old mate, he had no money. He said, well, I'm going to Africa. He said, I'll pay you for my ticket. And I said, go on then. So I won, and now I'm going to Africa. And Africa's on the other side of Belmont in Newcastle. So yeah, I was just sitting in the pub and yeah, so I ended up coming.